Here are mistakes that you didn't notice in Jillian and Addie videos. So in the video, the sleep talker, Addie's having these weird dreams where she hears people talking and she's seeing like hands behind doors or whatever, and this is causing her to sleep talk, like in the middle of the night. So what Jillian decides to do though is to put a little recorder by her bedside so they can hear what's going on, to see if there actually is someone else there with her. But when this doesn't work as quite as they wanted to, then they decide to strap it to Addie's arms, so if she walks, out of the recorders, audio, they can, hear where she's going. So they do that, and then Jillian ends up finding Addie in the basement, but it turns out it was just one big dream inside of a dream, I guess. It's confusing, but this is the mistake. So, in one of the nights, they strap a little recorder to Addie's arm as she's walking around, right? Now remember this. And later in the video, Jillian even finds it laying on the ground. So that proves that Addie was holding it, but then she dropped it. But the mistake is, when Addie's walking around, look, there's nothing in her hand. There's nothing strapped to her hand or something. So, where the heck was this recorder? Also, if you look closely in the scene where she walks down the basement, you never see her drop anything. So, yeah, this is a mistake that kind of ruined the whole video. So, no, not the whole video, but it kind of just ruined that scene. Because, she's not holding anything in her hand. So, I think they just forgot to put it in. But, hey, mistakes happen.
Addie?
So the video, Skull of Doom 2, is, obviously a sequel of, the Jillian and Addie Skull of Doom video. So basically in this one, the skull teleports Addie into the woods and she's running around, right? And now I'll admit this isn't really, a mistake, or it's not really that big of a deal, but, this is the mistake, I guess you could call it. So as you can see in this scene, Addie has no shoes or socks on, right? And you're probably wondering, yeah, she has no shoes or socks on. What's wrong with that? But then later on, when Addie gets teleported to the forest, she magically has shoes on now. And you're probably, okay, remember I said this isn't a mistake because they're not obviously not going to make her go out there with no shoes on. But, I'm just saying, maybe in the skulls, no, actually, remember, yeah, this is, happening in her head, so maybe in her head she had shoes on. So it's not really that big of a deal, but, let's move on. In the video, zombie in her house. Basically, there's a zombie in Jillian and Addie's house, and they have to get rid of it, right? And that's really all it is, because, I don't want to make this video real long explaining things. So let's just head over to the mistake real quick. So in this scene, Jillian, sorry some of their faces are cut off. It's not my fault. Anyway, what I was saying is, so in this scene, Jillian and Addie are at the bottom of the stairs and the zombie falls down the stairs and lands by them, right? And then, so see if you look, I'm even going to slow it down. When the zombie falls, right, he lands like that, right? He lands sideways, kind of looking towards Jillian. When it cuts to the next scene, he's magically facing the ceiling, and then okay, now I know when the zombie fell, that obviously wasn't a real person. That was just a dummy dressed as the zombie. And in the next scene, this is obviously someone in a zombie costume, probably Bob or something. Anyway, so yeah, but I'm just saying, I guess it would be hard to get in the exact angle, but I'm just saying, it could have cut to something else, and then maybe, once again, maybe not really that big of a deal. But let's move on to the next mistake. Woo! In the video, Siren Head versus War of the World's Tripod. Yes, I know it's a very, very long name. So yeah, sorry if I mispronounce anything wrong. But anyway, basically in this video, Jillian, I guess not Jillian, but Addie just accidentally, I guess, summons some tripod-looking thing, and then basically, it's causing mayhem outside. So then they get Siren Head, and then Siren Head has to come and defeat it, right? But then this is where the mistake comes in. Jillian mentions how Addie has tried to destroy the world many times. Then it cuts to a black and white clip of Addie and Jillian as a baby, and then there's a thing that says a nuclear bomb, keep away from babies, and then Addie presses it and the world explodes. But then this is where the mistake comes in. It has to do with the audio. And so they're okay, and now there's an ad on my screen. Anyway, but it has to do with the audio. So Bob, what the heck is this ad even about? Okay, hold on. Anyway, what I was saying, the mistake has to do with Bob and his voice. So after Addie presses the thing, he yells, "Addie, no!" But the audio actually cuts out when it doesn't really. It kind of cuts out in the beginning, and it goes like, "Addie, no!" Here, let me just play. You'll see.
Addie, no!
So, yeah, you can tell the audio kind of went, off when he said Addie. So, once again, I guess it's not that big. A lot of these are not that big of a deal, but, they're just little, nitpicks, little things that I noticed, okay? So, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, goodbye.